So, good morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
ma'am. And you're the
Good
most
morning, Nita.
good morning to you. You are the most welcome at this platform as Awesome Blossom English Learner. We are really very glad to see you here, and my audience, my students, really very will be happy to see you as a good or humble personality. Why I'm saying to you, why I'm saying to you, my audience, my students, my really very well wisher subscriber, because of there is a personality from the America, but can you imagination that actually she is really very doing great job. Actually, she wants by heart to help the people, and that's why she is also teaching to every student free of cost. Just because of actually she wants to push up to everyone to learn this global language. She is a native speaker, so let's see. We also can ask the many questions about a really very humble and peach personality. So, ma'am, once again, you're the most welcome at this platform,
Thank you
and
so much.
you're the most welcome, ma'am. So, ma'am, actually, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I can. My name is Pam, and I am from America. The city I live in is very small. You definitely would not have heard about it, but you've probably all heard about Chicago. So I live about 3 hours away from Chicago. And yes, I enjoy helping those that are learning English. I love to help everybody because it can be difficult sometimes with pronunciation and fluency. I'm actually learning other languages, so I do know the difficulties of trying to learn another language. And
Wow.
thank you for having me on your platform.
Oh, it's really very glad for us that you are here. Seriously. We are really very luckiest that we also can interact with a native speaker, and that's why I also can say to my students that yeah, if you have any kind of query, guys, so of course you also can ask to the really very humble lady as a really very queen of lady of America. I can say like this. So you also can ask by the comment box, but please just listen all podcasts, and after that you also can aware because we will discuss about really very different topic. We will not discuss about English, we will not discuss about culture tradition. You also can search easily about the tradition or culture in every country, but we will discuss about something, and which thing is really very which things really very will be helpful to the teenagers as well as a really very great students, because nowadays in current scenario we are really very eagerly to know, but because of in India, according to the Indian culture, we are not able to discuss because they are not comfortable with the parents, with the family, with the siblings as well. And same here, we also not can we are not able to share with the teachers as well. And in this situation, we also not prefer to go to the doctor to meet the doctor. They also can discuss about their feelings, emotions, everything. But because of shy, we can say shy of nature or hesitation, and that's why we are not focused on the education. So, what is
Hmm.
the reason behind that? Actually, ma'am, actually, I want to ask one thing that a lot of students, which they also having a age of 14 or 18, 20 or 24. Like after 14, it's really very hard to manage all things, concentration, just
Hmm.
because of like changing the hormones, and that's why nowadays students also are not able to focus on the education because they want to do something, they want to like interact, they want to intercourse, but they don't know what is the right for them and what is the wrong for them. So how to deal with this problem, and by that problem how to focus on the education, because if they will think about the if they will think about the intercourse, so definitely it's really very like harmful for them. They cannot focus on the education. So please, ma'am. Could you please tell your like ways are lacking? This is the lacking of point of education, or like what? Yeah,
Yeah, I
what?
definitely think, I mean, this is definitely a controversial subject, but it is definitely something that needs to be discussed with teenagers, whether they're 12, 13, 14, even up to age 18 and early 20s. Um, it is important to have that type of education of a sexual nature. Preferably, if you can discuss that with your parents, that's the best because they're going to give you the information that you need. But at that age, you're not comfortable talking to your parents about that. You don't want your parents to know that you're thinking those thoughts. So if you can find someone, a friend, or maybe you have to be careful with finding an adult friend, but if you can find someone that is knowledgeable, that is willing to give information that's helpful, then that's the best. Here in America, we actually do have sexual education in school, in class. Usually not until about age 15, usually, is about the time we start sex education classes. And basically, that goes over all the information. It goes over the reproductive the reproduction with men and women, shows you the diagrams. They talk about what a woman goes through when she starts her menstrual cycle. We talk about that. We talk about the changes that happen in your body, all the hormones that are coming in. So it is very important that that there is education on that, because when you don't have when you don't have sex education in school, where are you going to go to get that information? Well,
Exactly.
unfortunately, most of the time, since you don't feel like you can talk to your friends, or not your friends, I'm sorry, that you cannot talk to your parents about that, you're going to talk to your friends. And your friends are going to be in the same situation you are. They don't have the right information. So basically, you're all talking to each other, guessing at what's going on, and you don't have an actual, you know, real idea of what the situation is. So it's really, to me, I really think it's best to have sex education in school, not at the college level. Start at like age 15, 16. Talk to boys and girls. You can have them in separate rooms if you need to do that, if you feel that's necessary. Here, boys and girls are in the same room. They're all learning about the same thing. They talk about the different parts of the body and what happens, and when your hormones start, the changes, in your body. And so it's important to talk about that, because when you don't have an educated person that's teaching a group of students about sex education, you have a lot of kids that are getting false information. They're experimenting, not really realizing what can happen to both involved, the boy and the girl, when they start, maybe just kissing, you know, something like that. Unfortunately, and this is not to sound bad, but boys have a harder time controlling that. So if they start kissing and then maybe the girl decides, and sometimes the boy will decide that
Yeah.
they don't want to go farther, it's hard to stop that, you know? And so they have all these feelings going through their bodies, and they have no way of knowing how to control it. And it's not easy to control. It's actually something that, I'm sorry, forgive me for the
Oh, it's
interruption.
okay.
Um, it's not easy to control that type of feeling. You can, it's not easy. When you're not educated, you
Yeah.
have no way to control it. You really don't. So the best thing really is to find some place that you can get an education about it. And unfortunately, in India, I know that's not possible usually, because talking about sexual things is taboo. It's not something that's discussed. And honestly, just from the people that I know, I think it would be best if it was discussed. I think there would be a lot less confusion, a lot less issues when it comes to that type of nature. Um, but it's the same here. You have some students that maybe don't get to take a class like that, and so then they don't have the information, you know. And here, my society, it's a little bit more relaxed. We have a little bit more freedom, but it also comes down to parenting. As a parent, you have to you can't totally rely on the school to teach that. So you have to take a hand in teaching that also, and answering questions. As kids, they may not be comfortable talking to their parent, but as a parent, you can make them understand, I'm here for you. If you have questions, I can help you with this.
Yeah,
Some
definitely.
some yeah, and some kids will take and ask their parents, and there's others that would just rather talk to a friend. And if you have a good friend and they're knowledgeable and they keep basically the secret that they're talking with you, because you also, being a kid, you don't want anybody else to know that you're talking to someone about sex education. So it's really difficult at that age, because you want to do good in school, but yet all these hormones are going through your body, and all you're thinking about, if you're a boy, you're thinking about girls. If you're a girl, you're thinking about boys,
Exactly.
and that's a lot to handle at that age. I mean, some kids can handle it really nicely and other kids can't, but finding someone that's knowledgeable and that can answer your questions when you don't have it in an educated facility is probably the best way. I know there's probably some really good YouTube videos about this too, but really, if you can find someone that, even like here in this, once we're done in this post, if anyone has a question, they can post it down in the comments. And on another podcast, you can definitely address any questions that anybody has. Definitely would
Exactly.
be happy to answer their questions because I know they're going to have questions. And
Yeah,
I would rather they get an educated answer from someone that knows the information.
exactly.
Here we get the education. But I know in India and in other countries, there's no sex education class, and I really
Exactly.
would rather them get good, solid educational information regarding those things.
Exactly. So, ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
we can say like this, because of if we will continue sex educations, so of
Mm-hmm.
course, by that thing, students can be freely, students also can ask the questions freely because
Yes.
they also thinking this is the subject only. This is not
Mm-hmm.
actually sexually or physically or
Exactly.
any kind of intercourse. Like we also not thinking by the emotionally. We also
Right.
thinking by the mindset. So
Yeah.
because we will have intentions to continue as a education's way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
in this exactly. So in this case, they also can ask freely questions to the
Mm-hmm.
parents and to the
Yes.
teachers as well. And in this situation, if they're facing any kind of problem, so of course, what else? They
Yeah.
also can discuss as a problem with them,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely they also can get any solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah. And second question is actually, ma'am, what will you suggest? Suppose if someone is really very, unconscious mind, that person also want to do like intercourse, and
Okay.
that suppose his or her is like it's happened with the boys or it's happened with the girls as well.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say that only and only boys so much crazy to do intercourse. No, not at all. Girls also so much like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's both.
because hormones is with both.
Mm-hmm.
So question is that if what will you suggest? Suppose tomorrow you have exams and
Mm-hmm.
you want to focus on the exam studies. Okay, you also think to yourself, hit the books, hit the books, hit the book. But
Mm-hmm.
your hormones and your like internally feelings will not like your internally feelings are not
Mm-hmm.
saying to you that just focus on the education. Your internally feelings saying to you just do it first. Just do it first. Like just try to release the storm. So in
Mm-hmm.
this condition, what will you suggest to them? Like how to
I
deal?
would, yeah,
How?
how to deal with that? I mean, I think, and I'm going to be honest, I think boys have an easier way of releasing that tension. They,
Okay.
unfortunately, they do. I think for girls, it's a little bit more difficult to release the tension that they're under. But my suggestion is focus on something else. You know, definitely try to get your mind on something else, whether that's listening to some music while you're studying. Um, Try to think of other things instead of that. And it's not easy. It's definitely not. I understand. I mean, I was a teenager once too, you know. So, and we all were. You know, we were both teenagers at one time. But definitely try to focus on something else while you're studying. Listen to music. You know, that's a good way to keep your mind off of those types of thoughts. It helps you focus on studying for your exam the next day. And if you also don't want to put your if you don't want to put yourself in a situation where something could happen, don't be out alone. Don't agree to meet anybody. Go together. Like if you're going to go somewhere, go with at least two or three friends with you. And then you're there together. Same thing whether you're boys or girls, you know, stick together. Don't be putting yourself into any bad situation where you're tempted. You know, you don't want to tempt yourself. But I find if you can focus on the music that you're listening to, that will help keep your mind off of that type of thing. Having a favorite activity that you like to do. You know, if you like to sing, or if you like to sew, or if you like to make things, if you love to cook, all of those things will help keep your mind off of that. It focuses you on something else. That way, you know, you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to cook tandoori chicken. All right, what spices do I need? How long am I going to marinate the chicken? You know, how am I going to layer this dish for it to come out tasting excellent? Your mind is focused on that, except on
Exactly.
and not on the other. So that's basically it's focusing your mind on something else, you know. And the other thing is, you know, if you have a close friend, and even the music isn't helping, if you have a close friend that you can talk and say, hey, I just have these feelings or these thoughts, and sometimes a friend can help you like calm your mind and get you focused on something else. um,
That's
Here that's probably easier to do. I know in India everybody has friends too, you know. Yeah. I was
okay.
going to say something, I'm
So
not going to say that. So
yeah,
but yeah,
that's really
definitely just focus your mind on something else.
uh-huh. I learned things that if we will, if we will like really very crazy to do something, so we also can
Hmm.
focus. We also can, try to move the mindset. Like we also
Hmm.
can listen to songs, music,
Yes.
and we also can go outside to taking a like a little bit you can say tea with our friends, and we also
Hmm.
can, like
Yeah.
take a natural environment. So
Yes.
definitely we also can change the mindset.
Hmm.
Is it? Isn't it?
Definitely.
Oh,
Yes,
that's really
that's
great.
exactly what I'm saying, is to change your mindset. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Means you don't suggest to anyone that if person is really very eagerly to do something, so do it. No, don't do it. You
No,
just
don't.
focus on the education
Exactly.
and you just focus. You just try to change your mindset. You just try to
Yeah.
change. Something is new creativity. Something is
Hmm.
new learning thing, and you also can listen the music, and music is
Hmm.
really really very good.
Yes. Hmm. Definitely.
So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. And
You're
ma'am,
welcome.
yeah, actually, I want to know about the America as well. Actually, I also heard by the Googles and by the lady, but I want to ask you because you
Mm-hmm.
are here live. So, like in America, it's normally this is the
Mm-hmm.
normal. Okay, I'm not saying this is not normal. Actually, this is actually normally. We also
Mm-hmm.
thinking about too much. That's why it's very very hardly to call the name as well. If we will
Yes.
say, oh my God, sex life, oh my God. We will talk about the physically. Oh my God, it's really too bad. Like that. So
Yeah.
thing is that if we will take these things as a normal way, as the education's way, so definitely everything
Hmm.
is normal. Don't say don't say
Yeah,
like
it's yeah, here and especially here, it's normal. We definitely have sex education in school. So we do talk about it in school. We don't talk about it until they usually reach the age of 15, 14, maybe 15, and then that's when it is starting to get discussed in school. Now, outside of school, yeah, kids are talking about it. So it shouldn't really be a shock. The
uh-huh.
only way it would be shocking is if you just grew up in a house that they didn't discuss things like that. And there are families here. They
Yeah,
don't want their children to be in that type of class. There are parents that they will say, I don't want my child taking sex education class. That's the
exactly.
parent's choice. I think that's a bad thing because I really think because it's not just sex education.
Mhm.
They're talking about all the hormones that start to change your body. They tell you about the changes that are going to happen to your body. So sex education class isn't just sex. It's about
Exactly.
everything else that is involved with that. It's more
Exactly.
about going through what is called puberty, which is that time where your body starts to change. You become more of the adult image that you're going to be. But yeah, it shouldn't really be like, oh my God, like you're talking about that. No,
Yes.
here it's definitely not like that, because
Uh-huh.
you know some people don't like to discuss that type of thing.
Okay.
If it comes up in a conversation or if I'm talking with someone and they want to ask a question, I'm more than happy to answer a question. I have no problem with that. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
there's very few questions that I will not answer. But if it's a question regarding how is something done, or well, I have this feeling, is there something I can do? I will help talk to you about that because I think it's important if you have somebody that you're comfortable with and you can ask them that type of question.
Mhm.
That's the best way to try to get information. If you have someone you can trust and you're
Yeah.
comfortable with them, ask them. Don't
That,
don't be afraid that they're going to judge you or anything,
yeah.
because
Exactly.
I definitely am not going to judge you. If you
Exactly.
didn't get a good education about something, or if you were given wrong information and you say, oh, I was told this, it's like, oh no, wait, that's not the right information. This is
That,
the right so basically, yeah, make sure that everybody has the correct information, because when you start to have issues is when they don't have the proper information, and then they're basically going on false information and, oh yeah, I can do that. Well, no, you can't because of this. So yeah, definitely, having someone that's close, or even in this instance, they can ask questions after they watch this, and if they have a question, they can definitely ask it, and obviously, you'll reply and let them know what the answer is. Sorry. But
it's,
yeah, definitely, yeah, find somebody that you can confide in, someone you're comfortable with, that can help give you correct information.
oh, that's really great. Okay, ma'am. Actually, I just give you situations. I just give you situations. There's a one baby, and that
Mhm.
baby is I can say not baby. Actually, that is a 19 years old lad. Okay, and he cannot share with you his feeling
Mhm.
because you are mom. Okay,
Right.
and but you capture his his feelings. So in this situation, how to handle to that lad, to that boy?
Uh, with them not feeling comfortable talking about it, um, you could definitely say, hey, I know something's going on with you. I can tell, your body language is telling me that there's something bothering you. If you don't feel like you can talk to me directly, if you're comfortable, can you write down what you're thinking or what you're wanting to ask? And then just give me that and I'll read it. And then I can write my reply back to you. because sometimes that's a little easier is if they write it down and then hand it, so it's not as embarrassing. Because I think that what happens is at that age they're embarrassed to tell their parent that I have these thoughts, so I would suggest, write it down. Write down what you're thinking, what you're feeling. There's no judgment going on, and tell them that. Write it down. I'm not judging you or anything. I want to help you, and if this is a way we can communicate, then that's what we'll do. It's just another form of communication. It may not be verbal, it's written, and it's still, it might be easier to have that. Just write it down and then hand it to me or slip it to me or something, and then I'll read it, and then I'll write down a suggestion, or and I definitely would start out with, okay, I understand the feelings you're having and this is what you can do. So I think if you have that, I think is best, because you have to look at it as a form of communication. If they can't verbally tell you, ask them to write it. Say, write this down and then hand it to me, and then I'll write a reply back. Maybe that might be easier for them. You have to find different ways to communicate with your kids, because they all have different ways to communicate. And it just makes them more comfortable. I mean, here we have that here. There are kids, they aren't comfortable talking about certain things with their parents. It's understandable. But that would be one way that they could do that. They could just write it down. And that's probably the best way, especially if you watch their kids as they grow and you see the body language they use, and you see their personality coming out.
Exactly.
And when they get to be about that age, when they're teenagers and stuff, their body language changes, their personalities change. Yeah. And then when they start having maybe a problem, they're going to be more quiet. They're going to be more mopey or sad. Their body language is going to be like, body language and listening to their personality and how they're talking. Parents, not all parents are able to do that really well. But if you can focus on that and see, oh, wait, something must be bothering him. Yeah. And obviously, when you go and say, hey, is everything okay? Most kids are going to be like, yeah, everything's fine. Then you can say, well, okay, but you seem like something's bothering you. So if you don't want to tell me, if you feel comfortable, can you write down what's going on with you? And then I'll read that. So I think learning how your child communicates is another thing that some parents, maybe haven't learned how to do. It's not a learned trait. It's just something that you learn over time. I personally read body language, voices, the tone of the voice, personality changes and stuff. But I've learned that I'm 53 now, and I've learned that over a long time, how to do that. But yeah, definitely. I mean, as parents, if we can be there for our kids and just help them understand, we want to help you. As a parent, I want to help you. I want to answer your questions. I don't want you going to somebody that's going to give you false information.
Yeah, you think right, ma'am. Actually, you are saying absolutely right. I'm really agree with you that in this age, like students and children cannot share this type of problem, and that's why their body language, their personality, their voice, and they also feeling, so much innocent. They are not able to talk with like with with the partners, with the family, with friend circles, because they are also feeling exhausted, that what should I do, and that's why they are really very feeling so much embarrassing. They are so thinking, no, it's not good, or it's a bad, I don't know. Actually, they also don't know what is the right and what is the wrong. This is the actually bad or good. This is happening, actually happened with me, why? So actually this type of question they also cannot ask to anyone.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And those types of feelings are definitely normal. We
Uh-huh.
all go through them. When we're teenagers, we all go through that. Those
Yeah,
different feelings, sexual feelings, and, being more interested in boys or more interested in girls. We all go through that. So we understand. Children, don't think of a parent as a child, as having been a child at some point. Oh, we don't
exactly.
know anything. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, they think that, but honestly, we're there for them, and they just need to understand that they can ask. Here it's not as much of an issue. Most kids will ask their parent. Sometimes they'll ask a teacher. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think kids just need to get more comfortable with asking their parents about stuff, and being honest about, these are my feelings. Now, downside is, if the parent doesn't want to talk to the child about those things, or doesn't want to listen to those things. So now that's a bad thing. That's not
yeah,
good for the child, because then what's the child going to do? They're going
exactly.
to go to their friends, or they're going to talk to somebody else. And, so it's just as much the parent's responsibility to be open and willing to listen to their child, and listen to the problems they're having and the struggles they're going through, and help them to work through that in order to
Exactly.
get past that first, hormonal rage, because that's basically what it is. It's your hormones are raging, and you don't know what to do with them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So parents need to be just as involved too in this situation, because it can get really bad if they
Yeah,
get the false information. It can be really bad for them.
exactly. Exactly. And they also can suggest to the, they also like, if students or children also prefer to share this feeling or this type of questions related to sex
Hmm.
or related to physically relate to any kind of
Right.
intercourse. So of course they also can discuss with the parent, and parents should be suggest that
Yeah.
you also can do everything, but you just focus on the education first. And whenever
Hmm.
you have moved to do something, so just try to change your mind
Yeah.
by the listen of music, because this
Hmm.
is the, there is a, I can say there is a power of music.
Hmm.
So when you just try to change your mood to listen the music, just do it dance and just go outside party with the friends
Yep.
and with the, so of course you also can interact, you also can change your mind by that
Yeah.
activity.
Exactly.
And definitely
Yeah.
you also can be happy, and after this type of breaks, you also can be more and more focused on the education. You don't have need to go puzzle.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. So really, I'm really very glad to meet you, to talk with you.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
I can seriously right now. I'm really very feeling very glad, just because of it is a, this problem is with everyone, with
Hmm.
girls, with
Yeah.
boys, with
Definitely.
and it's problem with the starting of the 12 of like 14th of age, I can say
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
So thank
Definitely.
you so much. Yeah. And ma'am, actually, I'm just recording this call, as you know very well about this.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I want to upload this video.
Okay.
I want to upload this video on my YouTube platform. So if you have any kind of comments, of course you can tell me. Otherwise, I would
Oh,
like
no.
to.
No, you
Okay.
definitely are more than welcome to post this.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So actually, I want to give some messages to my viewers. Like, please, if you are watching this video, please just try to promise to yourself. It's really very important to do focus on the education, sex education, because by the sex education you also can get correct information,
Hmm.
because a lot of students also think this is the actual physical relation, this is actually intercourse. No, this is the actually education, and by that education you also can think what is the bad, what is the good. Actually, this
Hmm.
thing is happen with everyone just because of hormones, and
Yep.
that's why that you all are really very eagerly to do something. But whenever you have more to release this situation, so of course you can do
Hmm.
as I already mentioned by the ma'am, that you
Yep.
also can listen the songs, you also can try to try to busy with another activities, and by that
Hmm.
means you also can. And if you have any kind of query, you want to ask any questions, so definitely we will soon come with ma'am, and you can ask the questions with comment box, and definitely we can sort out all problem whatever you want to ask. Don't be shy and don't be hesitate. Just try to solve the problem like as a, you can say ma'am is like as a teachers, or you also can feel like as a mom, because she is really very
Yeah.
humble lady and kindness lady. That's why I'm saying to you, please just solve the problem and just try to focus on the freely thinking. Don't be think to do, just
Yeah.
think to do. Just think, create, grow the mindset. Just try to think this is not bad. Actually, if we will think this is a bad, of course this is absolutely bad, but thinking is bad, but
Right.
solution is good. So just try to find the solution, but don't be go here and there. If you will go here and there, and definitely you can spoil your time, and just
Hmm.
because of the timing is spoiled, you also can be, you also can imbalance your mind just because of your internally feeling, just because of your hormones, because your hormones want to do something, but your focus don't want to do something. Your focus, your focus, your consistency, your career, your future saying to you, just focus on the education. So
Exactly.
what the things, and I hope you will comment. You will ask you will ask all queries which you want to ask to the ma'am and with me as well. So till then, bye. Have a great good day, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, and have a
You're
great
most
day.
welcome.
I hope this
Thank you.
video everyone will like, because by that video we also cannot make only and only by that things. No, actually this video especially makes for teenagers feelings,
Hmm.
so they also can be think. No, actually it's happened with everyone. So
Hmm.
thank you so much, and have a great day.